Texas students and families are headed into the new school year with many new education laws taking effect.
Yeah, from the rollout of the state's school voucher program to changes in special education funding, and there's a new financial literacy graduation requirement. Here's what you need to know. So first of all, the state's new school voucher program begins this school year. It allows eligible families to use taxpayer-funded accounts for approved education expenses, including private school tuition, homeschool costs, and other educational services. The Texas Comptroller's Office recently released its first report about the program as required by law. Don Huffine says the demand reflects interest from families looking for more education options.
You have approximately 274,000 people sign up. We've now opened over 85,000 accounts for parents that are participating in the ESA, and we've got 120,000 more ready on the waiting list, ready to get in the program. So it is really extremely successful, obviously, and it was a huge undertaking to roll this thing out. There's a very strong demand for alternatives to the government school system. It's obvious. And so what this program is doing is just another tool in the toolbox that the state can use to satisfy parents that are dissatisfied with the current education system they're in.
Now, he touched on it, but there is so much more demand than there are dollars for that program. Critics, however, say the debate isn't just about choice, it's also about student outcomes and how taxpayer dollars are spent.
They're leaving out that research that says voucher users tend to have lower academic achievement. Researchers have found that voucher programs have had a very small impact on raising academic achievement in public schools. But when you think about the billion-dollar price tag of a voucher bill and the fact that other students who use the vouchers are likely to see their test scores decrease, it is a very poor investment to raise student achievement very, very slightly in public schools, when that could have went to reducing class sizes, hiring more special education teachers or counselors, adding new technologies.
Okay, well, the Comptroller's Office says it does plan to continue releasing reports on the program, and experts want future reports to provide more information about which students are benefiting from the program.
Another new state law changes how Texas pays for a special education service in public school. As part of a nearly $1.3 billion investment, districts will now get funding based more closely on each student's individual needs instead of a broader funding formula.
The root problem Texas is potentially trying to solve here is the systematic underfunding of public education and special education. And with regard to special education, many, many years of federal oversight and intervention and lawsuits around the quality and the intensity of services provided to students with disabilities. And so what's changing now is that funding for students with disabilities is going to be tied more closely to their need and the intensity of their services, rather than just kind of where they're placed in a given program or school.
The new funding also includes money for special education evaluations, which schools use to determine whether students qualify for services and what support they need.
And lastly, this change impacts incoming freshmen and kids coming in after that. Students entering 9th grade this year will now be required to complete a half-credit personal finance literacy course that covers budgeting, saving, investing, credit, other money management skills. They have to do it before graduation.
Financial literacy is obviously really important. I think if you ask most Texans, even, public school teachers, could we do a better job teaching children about financial literacy? They'd say yes. And so I think it's great. On the other hand, though, right, I don't think by mandating, a short course that it's a cure-all. And with all of these issues, right, whether it's about vouchers and private schools versus public, whether it's about special ed funding, or whether it's about financial literacy, what's most important for students is having high quality teachers a rich curriculum and students' needs being met in a way that they can learn to be successful.